those days again. I keep having those days, but probably all because it's down to the fact that I'm off to sunny Singapore. Well, it's been rainy Singapore, I think, this last 10 days or so. And I've been desperately and lovingly and wantingly and appreciating all these amazing speakers from around the world who've been jumping on Live with Lottie to share their amazing wisdom, knowledge, skills, top tips and everything for relevant specifically to professional speakers, but also highly relevant to anybody who is using live stream when you want to think, how do I go live, grow live, and then pro live? Is there a difference? What are those differences? And you can hear some giggles in the background because this is my guest today, who I have to hold my hand up and say I got so busy with Microsoft calling me this morning at 10:30 this morning saying, you've got Trojan horses, your emails are all wrong. And I'm going, I know, I've had so many issues. Even my guest didn't get my email, and crashes and all sorts. And I was like, I can't, but it wasn't. It was just a scam. But it took me nearly 2.5 hours to find that out. So bless this man who called me and is going to bring some peace into my mind. I know, the amazing Tony J Selimi. And I'm having deja vus now, Tony. I saw exactly that image in a dream with you.
Me too.
Tony, hello.
Hello, Lottie. How are you, beautiful?
I'm breathing now. I can see you on screen, and I appreciate and say thank you for chasing me this morning when you didn't know where I was, what was going on. Well, I was going, I should have just felt your calmness coming over. And somebody jokingly said, oh, the 7th person you speak to is the person to help you. And I counted back and went, you know what? The 7th person is Tony. It was all meant to be in the end. So Tony, tell us now. I love your tagline on your website is that you are the see-through coach. And you are the man you are the mentor of mentors. You are the man that big name people go to. You've written books with the likes and do shows with the likes of Jack Canfield and all sorts of amazing people. And I know you've been working on a very exciting project with even more big names. So tell us a little bit first, Tony, about who are you? What are you? Why do you do what you do? And how do you help the world?
Well, as you mentioned at the beginning of this live broadcast, I'm internationally known as the see-through coach, meaning I'm a man who I help people to really get to the true greatness in themselves, to awaken the true wisdom within themselves and being able to truly live the life of their dreams. And I'm also known as somebody who can break through all of the perceived limits and help with the psychology of success, of mindfulness and greatness. So people can truly live and truly empower themselves in all of the key 8 areas of life, which is essential if you truly want to expand and elevate your being. Because most people focus maybe 1, 2 or 3 areas, but when we are out of balance in other key areas of life, other people will overpower us. So we tend to lose our own true power. And thus, when we meet people, we either get infatuated by them, or we put them in a pit. And thus, we never truly in equilibrium or in our hearts with people that we meet. We just show different faces, different masks, which then does not really create the connection that creates everything in your life. And without connection and without the trust that by default our human energy field, which I talk in detail in my book, #Loneliness, the Virus of Modern Age, people think that just communication is through words. But we also know by default when we meet people, we even sense their energy. And sometimes even random strangers, we fall in love with them. Or We simply feel repulsed by them. So there are many multiple aspects of the human being that I spent 30 years research, study, and served thousands and thousands of people globally that helped me become this see-through coach that sees through people's disempowered states and bring them back into their true greatness.
And honestly, folks, what Tony was saying a moment there about how when you meet people, you either fall in love with them or you see through them. I actually was lucky enough to meet Tony with the lovely Mindy Gibbons-Klein, the book midwife, when I was actually a Christmas party when I published my book as well. And Tony and one of your dear friends, Tony, was there as well. And I just sat down across from this man and just went, I love him. I fell in love with you, Tony, from the moment that I met you. And it's almost emotional because there's so much going on at the moment. All of this brings up emotions, personally, for me, trying to panic. Okay, a row with the husband didn't help this morning either. It's one of those days. One of those days. But I just love that's what you say. So when you do meet people who, like right now, me today, who are kind of out of that equilibrium, before we start talking about how you use live streams and the power of live, and because I suppose what you're doing is you're empowering people to live life. And now you're also doing it via live lifestyle, not lifestyle on screen. It's lifestyle on screen. So just, yeah, tell us a little bit more about how you actually work with people and how you identify, because I think what you were telling me that first time, it's really interesting of how you can spot people that your gut trusts. Oh, and sorry if there's any beeping there, talking about trusting people, bells going off.
That's the alarm.
Yeah, lots of alarm going on. So yeah, so how do you kind of help people to identify and to succeed? What are your tips in that way?
Well, every human being in the world, I see them as this powerful intelligence that they yet to become aware of their true power. So when somebody approaches me for help, I do not see them with the limits of my perceived perceptions and beliefs and experiences that I had in my life, but I go beyond that. That's what the see-through means. I go beyond the pain and beyond the problems they will share with me in the first consultation. So my process is, first, anybody who wants an expert who spent 30 years and now teaching the experts themselves, they are ready to drive a Ferrari. So they're ready to go for a coach who is the Ferrari, who can really take them on this fast track upgrade of their mental faculties, of becoming masters of the emotions. So therefore you're not driven by the emotions, because the emotions are the killers of your reality and the kind of perfect image. It's almost the interference. If you imagine that we are holding the remote control of the TV program we want to see, so emotions are this massive wall in front of the TV program and does not reach the TV. So therefore, you can never really put that picture perfect. So in the first consultation with my clients, I establish why they would love to invest in this unique work that now globally I get flown to teach. And usually I ask them some powerful questions to really understand where they are in this moment in life and understand what are their limits and understand what are their pains and what are their aspirations and the kind of dream life they want to create in their life. Because majority of people are even afraid to actually say what they want. And one of the biggest things that I've seen globally, wherever I go, it's how people find it difficult to say to me when I ask them a question, how much do you want to earn? People find it difficult to actually increase their deserve levels and to actually bring more financial wealth in their life because they have all of those perceived perceptions about what wealth means and all of those disempowered beliefs that does not support them creating wealth. Or people come to me for relationship issues. As you know, Lottie, we've co-created with my partners at Vandercom, who are my business clients, because I'm supporting growing Vandercom to multi-million dollar and pound business in UK. But also I'm working with the owners, the CEOs of Vandercom, which is Timia Vandermolen and Joel Vandermolen, on personal level. Many people have personal problems. They also will have midlife crisis. They'll have relationship problems. So in fact, in the first consultation, I identify what are all of those noises and distractions and the pains my clients experience, and what is it they truly want at the end of 1 year, 2 year, 3 year period. But what I notice is by the time we finish these 2 hours, their expectations of what's possible for them transforms and changes, and it increases. So their vision and their mission, their purpose in life changes. So people do come for various issues. For instance, if I have got a couple of billionaire clients, and they're not hiring me to help them make more wealth. They are hiring me to look after their health. They hire me to look after their relationship. They hire me to potentially look after their children who may have some form of addictions, sugar addictions, maybe anxiety, depressions, and all the different things. So different people at different level hire me for different specific issues they experience in their life. As an engineer, I love resolving problems, and I love giving people solutions.
So Tony, that's what I love, because like you're saying, as an engineer, so how on earth did you end up being where you are right now? And the books, it's, by the way, there are 2 books, a path to books, The Path to Wisdom and The Path to Excellence. There's also the Loneliness book that actually, if you go onto Tony's website, I've popped a link in the Ladies Go Live page. And if anybody else is watching on Confidence on Camera page, please share it out, because Tony has an offer there, a 50% Kindle offer on his website. So do go and shout it out there. And just before we move on, while Tony's looking out, I'll say a couple of hey-heys shout-outs. We have got a hello to Robert C. Stern. Hey, Robert, who was with us on Friday, sharing his tech knowledge and know-how. And then Jill has come in to say, what better thing to have my flight from Florence today so I can sit and tune in. And oh, look, here's Tony doing his book show-off. I love it. So that's The Path to Wisdom there. But do please, and that's the Loneliness book. That's the one with the 50% Kindle offer on Tony's website, which is Tony.
Hashtag loneliness.
Hashtag loneliness. Get the hashtag loneliness there. So Tony, the original, while I did a shout out there to everybody else, the original question was, how did an engineer end up here?
Well, since a very young age, Lottie, I used to look up in the sky, and I really was extremely curious about life. And all of us, we've been brought up in different cultures, different religions, and different versions of what God is. And not only that, but one of the main things that really bothered me from a very young age is the abuse that I saw towards the female gender, towards my mother, towards my sisters and other females, and how the entire society, it was so male-driven. And inside of me, I just literally...
Sorry, Tony, originally, where are your family from originally? Because I know there's a cultural difference there. So explain the cultural differences for you.
Originally, I was born in Macedonia, in former Yugoslavia. And former Yugoslavia was a form of a communist country where we had the good things and we had the bad things. But one of the things, you were not really free, although you perceived the idea of freedom, but in fact, you actually had to do what you were told to do. So you can imagine, like, for instance, the president of the whole country, you were taught he is your father. Thus, it's the primary authority figure in your life. So, and you weren't able to express your views. You weren't able to say anything bad about it. So you were trained in this almost like military way of thinking. And only later on in life, when you go out in the big wide world, that you start learning about other people, other cultures, other religions, and you start really questioning everything you were taught. So as a child, I always loved mathematics, I loved science, I loved engineering, and I won many awards in former Yugoslavia about physics. So physics and quantum physics and biology and mathematics were my strongest subjects, but also healing world, because as you probably know, I share in both of my books, in Hashtag Loneliness and in Path to Wisdom, the journey that led me to really go now globally and create a unique methodology that people can use to upgrade consistently their reality, their mental faculties, emotional intelligence, and the spiritual intelligence. So I use my engineering mind, which always loved to resolve problems, and create some of the technologies which are now widely available and used, and combine that with my spiritual intelligence and my love to help people heal their lives and to help people go into this part of themselves which is not normally accessible because we are so distracted by the outside noise. But the reality is, in every human being, there's this essence, there's the spirit that lives in each one of us that has a totally different intelligence from the one we think we know, which is seeing our spirit through our own mind. And when we calm our mind and we empower our frontal cortex and we use meditation daily and we practice mindfulness daily, we start really to tap into something so big that words cannot explain.
And there is Tony talking about mindfulness and being relevant and being here, and I'm busy looking at the other computer screen at the same time, and I'm about to wrap up here but I love, Tony, I just saw one of your buttons on your website that you don't have a button that says buy here or join me or whatever. Your button just says I am ready now. And it's one of those things that it's your call to action for us as people visiting your site, but you're giving, by using that choice of words, you're giving us, the users, that 100% emotional and intelligence and the connection between, am I ready now? Oh, am I ready to embark? But I tell you what, I'll watch Tony live for a while, and when I'm ready, I know where he is. So why was it, Tony? See, here we go. Brain's going bleh. Conscious decisions. How did you reach those, the choice of those words, Tony? Why are they so important?
I'm well known in my industry and also across all of my business clients to actually look through all of their words that they use in business and also in their daily life, and the power that words have in generating our reality. So when I look from the scientific point of view, and when I started really understanding the link between quantum reality and our physical reality and how that changes our behaviors, I understood truly that every word has a specific resonance and specific frequency. Now, when all of those words get combined, it creates the reality. Unfortunately, many people are not trained to really, first of all, be extremely aware of the thought patterns and the words that they use on a daily basis. Now, there's a whole industry out there that's been developed to play on people's emotions, therefore engaging with people on emotional level and getting them to buy emotionally. I find a lot of those, Tony, just sorry to interject there. I also find a lot of those, having gone through an emotional morning, I find a lot of those emotionally almost, it's not aggressive is the wrong word, but it's kind of that they pull at your fears more than at the positive end of the outcome that you're looking for in the end. Yes, I mean, you're quite right, Lottie, there. It's, I've been in the personal development industry for almost 25 years. And while I was doing my technology work in the corporate world, and I really loved and managing and developing people and large-scale IT programs to up to billion level, my true calling was truly to understand the two worlds and being able to integrate and bring spiritual intelligence in business and leadership so we can actually resolve some of the global problems. Now, what I noticed both in the corporate world, in everyday life, wherever you walk, I talk in #loneliness, the virus of modern age, the visual rape we get on a daily basis. But also I talk about the written rape that we get, because we talk about physical rape and people get really serious about tackling physical rape, but nobody's talking about the emotional rape that we go into. And #loneliness really captures those subjects in a beautiful way of explaining things in a palatable chunks of wisdom, knowledge, and metaphors that people go like you did earlier on. Wow, yes, that's true. Where people are sold something on emotional level. And I've been to many seminars by some really very brand names, and I have no desire to mention those brands. And it is this almost this virus that also goes in the personal development industry, where they continue to pass on the wisdom and knowledge that was generated 200 years ago. And today, we have a new level of conscious community, new level of thinking, new level of awareness of who we are and how we do things and how we love to connect things. Now, when people buy emotionally, at some point they're going to regret it. And what people who sell on emotional level don't understand is the fact that the moment this person regrets it, the moment they send this wave of negative energy to them, and without even knowing unconsciously to them, they will experience negativity in their own lives. So I really wanted to bring something which is high level of awareness to help people and those who serve at the moment to be able to create products and services which are conscious and therefore supports the collective consciousness. Instead of playing with people's fears and playing with people's emotions, you create something that awakens their heart. Now, the heart's wisdom comes with powerful knowledge and wisdom, where you don't need to buy something which feeds your emotions, but you truly make a decision knowing and trusting that whatever product you're buying is serving you without having to go through those later on, I would say, emotions and a barrage of negativity, of stress, anxiety, and regrets. So the heart energy, when you are in your heart and you're buying through the heart, you truly make the most of your investment of no matter what product you are buying. So you are not forced to buy, but you are consciously choosing this is the right product for you. And this is what we need globally now. More people, more entrepreneurs, more businesses to create products and services where they're not there to compete with other people or to play with people's emotions or states, but where people make a conscious choice. This is the product that helps me through the next stages of my evolution.
It's funny, everything, because I've heard you speak on stage. I've heard you speak and just been sitting chatting and just absorbing all of these conversations with you, Tony. And what I love and appreciate so much as a professional speaker, where I've seen you, Tony's one of these people, folks, that is exactly the same on stage as he is when he's sitting chatting to you, as he is when he's out and about having a party time. There's still just this sense of warmth and heart, which I think comes through on the screen with you, Tony, as well. So I'd love to link in, thinking as well that we're thinking of the Asian professional speakers in Singapore for their convention coming up on the 11th and 12th of May. And thinking whether it is for professional speakers or whether there are tips for anybody who is wanting to kind of move to bring their story and their passion and their help to the screen. How do you think live streaming, or live as we're calling it these days, is currently changing people's lives more so than TV and radio and podcasting and things before it, Tony?
I believe that live streaming has a tremendous role to play in the evolution of human consciousness, and also helping many people who not necessarily may have the means to work with an expert or be able to buy products and services which are outside of their budget. So I really love many teachers out there in the world who use live streaming to really bring nuggets of their wisdom to support people, because I work with certain range of clients. Thus, I don't have the time to work with everybody. So a lot of people know me as the elite coach, meaning for businesses who are seven-figure businesses and above, which means I work with CEOs, with celebrities, entrepreneurs, and people who have the means to be able to have an expert and literally bring those 30 years of wisdom that they will go out there to work with one man who can download all of that in 1 year. So it's But the importance of this is what I notice, Lottie. It's with many people, like you've seen me traveling globally, and with some people, I just bring them on the spot and I interview them on Facebook. And there are two type of people. The type of people who straight away shy away, and they fear how they look, whether they have the makeup, whether they have the right clothes, whether they, they need to set themselves up and create this false facade of who they are. And I've met some really amazing people. And after our conversation, they come to become aware how unauthentic they are as speakers or as teachers. It literally, I bring this mirror outside in them where they start to self-reflect. And I had so many compliments when I was in America and while I was in Macedonia, where people see me in different facets of my life. So I'm not really just sharing when I'm in business, where I'm with clients. I'm sharing when I'm at the gym, when I'm literally doing the dirty work in my garden, when I'm supporting my mother, when I'm supporting other people in different situations. I went with a client to teach my 5-day vital planning program in Menorca. And for the night, I became a waiter. And, I was sharing transparently in the world that being yourself and being able to, no matter where you are, no matter what clothes you are, whether you're on the beach, whether you cleaning your washers, people do not care what you do. People do care how you come across and what kind of wisdom and what kind of tips you can share with these people to help them to go to the next level. And if you as a speaker, you're not able to show your true being and all of your different facades, people will not authentically connect with you. They might connect briefly because they might have some kind of fear or emotions that I've seen many speakers who become extremely dramatic on stage. And, and some speaker associations, they encourage people to be dramatic, to really bring drama on stage and emotions. And you listen to a speech for 40 minutes and say, what did I get out of this? And as a speaker, we're not there to really share our stories. We're there to really share wisdom and experience that people can use the moment they leave your talk. They can implement instantly. They can change their lives, and they can drop you a message saying, thank you, Tony, for changing my life, because just one sentence you shared changed my business, changed my reality, changed my thinking, changed my beliefs, changed my values. So the thing I would always recommend to speakers, if you're going to go live wherever you are.
Oh,
and just be yourself.
We've just got a glitch there, Tony. I don't know if that's my end or you. Oh, have we frozen? Can you hear me, Tony?
I can hear you clearly and I can see you clearly.
Okay, great. I think we might be back now. It might be the gremlin in my machine. It might be Facebook. It might be live. You never know, but you might be able to see us perfectly fine. But it's fascinating because obviously with my actor performance lifestyle, I can bring the kind of performance side when I want to, but actually here live, a lot of the time it's the topic, it's the content, what I call in my book, the emotional connection. And actually, because this screen, if you have the courage to fill the screen with your face here and you show the whites of your eyes, this is where people look and this is where people are drawn to on camera. So it has to be real, because otherwise people see when you give yourself away in little tiny bits that people don't see on a stage. So I always think that connection properly to your core message, and when you stop thinking about what you want to say, and you're, like you said, the one-liners, that somebody somewhere can take that and use that, that's really what makes the impact and really what influences people and interests and helps them, really, isn't it?
Absolutely. As speakers, we hold tremendous, I would say, power and influence to help others truly transform their lives, whether it's their business life or whether it's their team or whether it's their personal life or their finances, or how they truly want to be perceived in the world and what kind of vision, mission or purpose they own. So for the Asian Speakers Associations, I think the first tip, which I shared earlier on, it is essential to let go the illusions of the mind. but really step into your true authenticity, because every human being has that true authentic self, and knowing within the self the kind of solutions, the kind of problems they can resolve. And it could be just one problem, or it could be just one solution you have for your audience. No matter what it is, show it in a way that you connect with their heart, because a lot of speakers out there, they do still use the old way of connecting with audience emotionally. And the power of your heart, the power of the love that lives in your heart is so much greater than the emotion. So when you are being vulnerable, when you are being open, when you are simply being the person you are in your pajamas, or when you go to sleep, or when you go to the toilet, or when you do those functions nobody speaks about, this is what people connect to, because they themselves will reflect that and saying, oh my God, I'm not alone. And a lot of people tend to put so many different facades, Lottie, and eventually people will see through those facades, because your inner intelligence knows if somebody is authentic with you and truly cares. Because if the person cares about themselves, about their life, about their finances, about their business, about their well-being, about the way they speak, naturally they will care about you.
Yes, it's funny because it's so simple. It's such a simple message, Tony. But it is the way that, I mean, I've heard so many people speak similar kind of topics to the way that you do it. And there are people that I love around the world that speak about it. My mate, Shelley Taylor-Smith in Australia, when she speaks about it with her champion mindset, she's really focusing people through to who want to achieve and succeed very specific goals with that gold medal moment. And I love what you're bringing to this, because it's the as she also talks about, there's the moments for gentleness, and then there's the moments for drive. But all through this, it's identifying that part within ourselves and within this to blah, 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 that just goes blah, or to step back and take a moment and just go, what's the real core? Not for me speaking on a stage, but what does that person need? What does this person need? And I always say, Tony, I'm going to blah. After meeting Anthony Steers, the telephone assassin in the UK, love Anthony. And he said, I'm just going to dump. You can take what you need. I'm just going to give you as much free information and help as I can. You grab what you need from this, and come and ask me questions afterwards, because that's what builds the connections, isn't it, really?
Absolutely. It's basically, it's the connection that gets built when you yourself are there to serve people, because the reality is, as a speaker, or no matter what you do in your life, you will be serving somebody. So, you know, we all serve one another, and we all are teachers and students of one another. When you go with that open mindset, you start developing a growth mindset. In Path to Wisdom, I give a typical example for people to be able to identify in the 8 key areas of life where they're having a growth or limited or closed mindset, and how you can develop and how you can change the language and how you can reprogram your true being to actually expand and elevate. Because as I mentioned earlier on, everything, the entire universe works on vibrational frequency and energy. And there are many powerful teachers such as Einstein and other people out there who truly have done some of the work for us to be able to embody those principles and take it to a whole new level. Like late Stephen Hawking, you know, he created so much for humanity, and majority of people do not even understand his work. But as a scientist, this is what I loved. I loved really absorbing the science and then really creating TJS evolutionary method alarm, where people listen to their inner alarm. And usually this is why it's difficult for people, because we can't listen ourselves. And I say to people, when people ask me, does everybody needs a coach or a mentor? And in my opinion, I believe every child, every human being will benefit from that. Because if we were designed in a way for us to self-upgrade, okay, we would not have all the problems we have globally. And if that was the case, a car would not have rear mirrors. We as drivers will never be safe without the mirrors that we have, 3 mirrors that we actually observe 360 degrees what's happening around us. In a similar way, a good coach, a good mentor, it's a great mirror for you to upgrade yourself consistently and being able to listen to what you vomit.
and there's me reaching for the mirror, Tony, reaching for the mirror.
I love it.
I love it. It's and folks, I was just while typing and listening at the same time. It's I know we can't multitask properly, but there's some things that just as the words are coming in, and I'm listening here and looking over here to try and type it quietly at the same time. It's and what I was typing, folks, by the way, is if you've got a question, drop it in and Tony can answer it live. Please, please, please do that on my ConfidenceOnCamera Lottie Hearn TV page there. Then we can do a bit more interaction with you folks. But yeah, it kind of brought me back each time, Tony, to then you've worked with some of the world's, as I said, top motivators around the world and who've been using videos and live streams, the likes of a certain Mr. Robbins for a very, very long time is a friend of yours. And you kind of know that they can do it. But how, when I'm starting off as a speaker, or even if I'm a well-paid speaker, but I'm not doing this on screen yet, where to start, or how do you kind of aim to be like that from the beginning, or is there a process? What was your process when you came to start using live more often, Tony?
Being somebody who's always loved technology, when I started using live, I actually a lot of the times I felt camera shy, and that's the absolute truth. And this is for any human being, Lottie. It's no matter what you do, whether it's camera or other things. Every time we start something new, our default reaction of our body will resist, and our default, bodily parts, especially our brain, especially our amygdala, which is the part that regulates our fears and how we respond to those fears, will respond in a way that either will make you camera shy or will support you saying, okay, yes, I'm camera shy, but I will continue to go for it. If whatever you are sharing, it's bigger than you. So if you have this calling inside of your heart and saying, I definitely want to reach this goal, like your friend, was it the Australian friend?
Yeah, Shelley, my swimmer friend.
Like Shelley. So yeah. Like Shelley. So if you have this specific goal and you are on this marathon, you know that you have to run the marathon and you know that you will need to get there sooner or later. Equally with starting the process of being live on camera, if you truly care about what you want to do with who you want to serve, you will make the first step. And the first step is be able to become vulnerable and being able to even observe yourself through all the mistakes and laugh at yourself. So this is the key to be able to overcome those fears, for you to be able to be transparent with the world. Because of the many judgments we've had and experienced in our lives, those judgments will take over how we are being perceived by others, which means it's a great alert. So alertness is one of the steps of my methodology, the 25 conscious principles, because the first part starts with an awareness. So for you to go live on camera, just become aware of who you are and become aware of the things you want to say and become aware of the people you want to serve and why do you want to serve these people. When you know that why, suddenly your mind starts becoming more together, more integrated, and your words will become more powerful as you move on. for me, being on camera was exactly the same learning process as I went through when I went to study maths, science, or when I ran to walk, or when I ran the marathon back in 1998 when I finished my degree at University College London. So everything new, will shock your being. But having the first step and making sure you do it every single day, within a year, you will not recognize yourself. You will be so confident in camera that naturally it becomes natural to you, no matter whether you are on the beach, because you've seen me going live from the beach, or you are in a workshop on a big stage or small stage, at home, in the kitchen. No matter where you are, you become natural being on camera. And this is what people love, being able to see you through that. One of the things I do with my clients when they start working with me, I start videotaping them, asking them to give me testimonial after every session. And there are clients who start resisting because they don't want to be filmed like that. They don't want to be filmed in that state. And there are clients who become open to that. And it's amazing the transformation we see from the first session to a year down the line. They almost become those professional speakers. They are ready to go on stage and share their gifts with the world without going through the training of being a professional speaker.
And that's not just business people either, Tony, is it? That's not just, but as you said, there are some billionaires that you have those kinds of messages from as well, and some very, very famous people too. So,
yep.
So Tony, I was just saying to people, if you've got any questions, please, whether it's before or after, I will follow up afterwards for anybody who's watching the replay if you miss us live, and also to Jill, if you have to go and jump on your aeroplane and fly off to wherever you're flying off to, please do come back and ask us some questions. So Tony, with that, I love that the how you're connecting the technology, and I love that idea of getting testimonials on camera every single time. I do it all the time, but do I actually use those testimonials? I suppose that's the next step. So where are you seeing for yourself? Because if, like me, have you got tons and tons and hours and hours and hours of backlog of footage that you could use somewhere that you could do something with? Or are you actually doing things with that backlog of footage? And what ideas could you share to speakers for what they could do with the live shows or videos that they've got on file?
Well, the first thing I would love to share with all the speakers out there, one of the biggest problems that entrepreneurs, business owners, and speakers have is have testimonials from their clients. And testimonials are essential to building credibility globally. And I see many people who come to me and say, oh, I have testimonial, but I can't reveal my client's name. Now, yes, there are clients who need confidentiality. However, it is essential to have balance where you have clients who support your work. So usually, if you approach people with openness and you ask them for testimonial, people naturally want to be of service. So all of the clients who actually I work with, the moment I ask them, they come back to me and say, of course, I would love to be of service. Because the reality, this is a two-way process, because they know they will get exposure to almost 1 million people who follow and read my work, and they've seen me, whether it's on TV or radio. And through my global work, we've calculated, we've reached almost 50 million people who either have heard through me through TV, through radio, read my books, come to my seminars, workshops, or through live video, and through different broadcasts I've done, including with you. So it actually works in their favor, because their name, their brand is actually shared with my entire community, and vice versa. So when you approach people with this loving and sharing idea of how much that would benefit, people will give you the testimonials. What I do with my testimonials, majority of them, they get uploaded directly into YouTube, or they go uploaded directly into my Facebook or into my public Facebook profile. And occasionally I also share them on Instagram if the testimonial is short. But also I have a massive footage in the background that I'll be using as I'm creating those 25 films and documentaries. So it's wherever I've spoken, I've asked people to give me shots of me speaking, or me doing a seminar or training private, where I can use 2 minutes or 30 seconds or 10 seconds. And what I usually do is I always credit people back. So I always create a link back to whoever gave me a testimonial. So this is free marketing for anybody out there who gives you a testimonial. And vice versa, whether it's testimonial, whether it's writing a review about your book, I always ask people, write a review, because unless people write that, people would not know how to go to the next level. So you're actually being of service by giving testimonials and writing reviews to others, or inviting people on your live broadcast. I've invited so many people on my live broadcast, people who are my readers, people who I'm their readers, people who come to my seminars are my clients, people I've served, people who've come for healing work with me, random strangers who are doing some amazing things. And also, wherever I travel around the world, I meet amazing people, Lottie. And it's amazing to actually invite them. Like I went to the Quantum Leap, my partners in America, who basically work bringing publicity. Those are the people who brought Jack Canfield to sell 600 million people, Steve Harrison. So I now take my clients into those experiences. And recently I interviewed Steve Harrison in front of all of this team, and I taught their team how to use live video to build their businesses. So really being live on Facebook and being more confident on camera, and this is what you're teaching, it's really a multiple win-win-win scenario where you, as somebody who interviews, wins, when the person who gets interviewed wins, and the community you both serve wins. So I really believe in creating tremendous value for people through being on camera and sharing.
Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. It's funny because Tony, it's been one of these things that having been doing this for quite a long time, and Robert, who I know was watching earlier as well, from back in the blab days, the early video days when we're all making this up as we go along, folks. None of us knew how to do this, know how to do this. These tools arrive, we play with the tool and we connect, and yes, I have video bombed this man before at the Professional Speaking Association UK and Ireland conference. Actually, last year we had a lovely video bomb session with the wonderful Anne-Marie. So hello to Anne-Marie. Hi, shout out to you there. Because she's a health speaker, and Tony, since she was chatting with you and since she won our Speaker Factor last year, Anne-Marie has taken over, bought a new business, sold one business, bought into a new one. She's doing amazing things, and her speaking business is just doing this. And she said she had such a lovely chat with you. It really inspired her to go for it within the health industry, and looking at the issues that are going on within the Irish health industry specifically. So another person you've inspired there, Mr. Selimi. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, gorgeous.
Yeah, oh no, it's great. I know that anybody that I say, please go and say hello and introduce yourself to Tony. I know that you've always got time for, no matter big or small, anybody who's out there, if they come with a good heart and a proper serve, and it almost doesn't matter. And I love the fact you were talking about your pajamas, because yes, I'm in my pajamas again today, folks. But luckily, I found the vest to go under the see-through top. I was going, no, I can't go like see-through top. Goodness sake. But this is what happens, folks. This is what happens. And if anybody can get to reach 50 million people through serving and focusing on serving and caring about the people who are on the other side, you didn't start that way, did you, Tony? Just think, without scaring any professional speakers, because we want to make sure that those people at the APSS aren't going, oh yeah, it's fine for you to say, Tony, but we're not there yet. So what's your advice when people are just, I know you said just do it and do it for a year, but what else would you say for people who are going, oh, it's fine for you, you've got those connections and you do speak all over the world right now, but we're just local speakers. What about that then?
Basically, nobody was made to be a speaker. So we all go through the steps required for us to go to the next level, no matter what level you are. Even if you are a beginner speaker, you can actually face the mirror, grab a mirror like you did, and talk to yourself and record yourself in your own private space where nobody knows about you. So that on its own is the first step you can do, and to see whether after you do a replay of your video where nobody else needs to watch that, to see whether you would love to listen to yourself. And the more you start doing that, the more you become confident in speaking. You pick up your patterns of speech that not necessarily may create a wonderful speech. But also there are so many different tools out there to help you structure a speech in a way that makes an impact. So use some kind of framework. I mean, my framework that I teach all of my clients, we start first of all, what are the 3 key things that the audience will walk away with? And what are the key 3 problems the audience will have with those 3 takeaways? And the solutions behind that and the impact they will have. So you can really start very, very small, no matter where you are. Clearly, just the fact that you want to be a speaker, there's inside of you something that wants to come out. So take a phone in your own privacy and just vomit of whatever you want to share with the world, and then rewatch that, replay it, write it down, and start structuring your speech around whatever topic you want to share. Because of my wealth of knowledge, I can share different topics, and I've been invited to speak about different topics, whether it's business, whether it's leadership, whether it's mindfulness, health, whether it's spiritual intelligence, or when it comes to much deeper topics, such as, for instance, understanding the laws of the universe and how we can apply those laws to transform our reality. So you don't have to measure yourself according to somebody who's already doing big things. Measure yourself according to you, where you are in this moment. But use those people who inspire you to really be able to bridge the gap. Bridge the gap of the steps you need to take to become more confident speaker. And when it comes to actually being able to go to the next level, I always say to people, start in your own community to start with. Once you become confident on camera with yourself, get a few friends together and saying, guys, you know, I would truly love your support. I'm going to share with you 30 minutes of a speech that I'm developing that I would love to take globally. And all of the friends who you approach them at a heart level, they will spare the 30 minutes to listen to you and get that feedback, and then rework your speech and get a new set of friends. And then when you're ready, go to the local community, go to the local library, go to the local school, go to the local business, go to somewhere locally and say, I'm ready to give you a free speech. I spent a year or 2 simply going and sharing without charging. So that helped me build my credibility, that helped me reach more people, that helped me more people be aware of what I do. And now it's sort of, I can charge the prices that a lot of speakers would love to charge. But I've had people who ask me, say, I want to charge the same as you charge. And when I start asking them what they've done, they don't have the credibility to be able to charge that. So do not build any form of illusion, but start with simply sharing, caring, and serving people. The more you do that, the more you start attracting new opportunities. The more you start attracting new opportunities, the more your sharing and your wisdom and your knowledge and your skills will be appreciated by others when people turn around and say to you, here's what I can do, this is my budget, would you love to do a speech for me? Now, whilst I charge for speaking engagements, for certain charities, for certain events where they pre-buy my books in advance, I do a very good arrangement where basically if they have a massive event and they buy my books, I can go and speak for free. Now, places like the PSA, I'm always supporting because I can go and share freely because I know the work the PSA does. So also be very aware of where you want to share and how you want to share. Although at this stage, I don't need to speak for free, but there are events like the PSA and other events around the world where I go and share transparently. People only pay my travel costs, and I just go there and share because they support great causes, they help other people grow, and they truly transform people's lives, and they have this intention that it's aligned with the vision I'm on, which is elevating the lives of 1 billion people.
Only a billion, Tony.
Only a billion at this moment in life.
Just 1 billion this moment in life. But I also love, Tony, that your tone of voice when you're here on camera, it has that certain calmness. It has that sense of meditation. Have you got your audio recordings of you doing meditations for people, Tony?
Absolutely. It's all of my clients and people around the world, they can download my meditations from my website, from iTunes, and they can use them daily. And my voice, a lot of random strangers from around the world, they send me messages and telling me about their breakthroughs just doing the meditation in 6 weeks. And they say somehow my voice goes into their head every time they have a challenge, and it almost gives them an answer. And it's amazing because some people at 3 a.m. in the morning send me messages saying, you just came into my vision and helped me resolve this problem. And it's like, you know, they said to me, you're just like a miracle man walking on the planet and helping people. And truly, when you step within yourself and you have no intention of manipulating others or yourself, you are into that heart energy. And the feedback you gave me about my voice, wherever I go, whether I share live or I meet people, people go into this meditative state within themselves.
Yeah. It's funny because it's one of those things with the community that with the Ladies Go Live community, which is part of the reason that that Frederick in Singapore was saying, Lottie, can you come over and speak about live, and can you connect with your live stream communities and speakers around the world? And he said three or four speakers. So of course, I think Tony, you're now number 12 or 13 of the people who have been able to get mini shows, shout out statements, full hour-long shows. And thank you, Tony, for your time today, and for also following up with me. You must have known that there's something was going on. Something was going on Monday, because I mean this crew of women, both the co-founders Jen and Tina, with myself, and the women that I've connected and met through there as well, and the people who've become our members and our friends. You really do become proper friends with people when you're live streaming from the heart. And Tina always says, Tony, Tina's statement is serve, share, shine. That's her statement there. And I've been saying for more than the last year, stop telling and selling, start the sharing and caring, because that's what people care about, from having been involved in the TV world and performance worlds for many, 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 many years, and falling out with that and creating whole new other worlds. Been there, as you said, been there, done it. Ain't quite got 50 million people just yet, but it's on the way. So just before we go, Tony, for any people like myself who we may be using live streams, we may be speaking very confidently here on camera, but what's the next step to really, like, as you said, of course, the answer is go to Tony, or go to anybody else in your local area who you feel is the right person for you, because it has to be the right person for you, who can be that coach and mentor to take you up the next level. But Tony, for you, with working with the billionaire clients and people who come to you for the next step within the business, what would be your number one tip for the successful speakers who are already out there doing it, just to close off on this idea?
Number one tip is consistently learn new ways of delivering value to people that you are serving. And by investing in yourself, you're actually investing in all those speakers. Although I'm now considered one of the leading experts in the work that I do and get hired by the experts, I consistently invest in my personal development, spiritual development, and in my healing work, because we are those infinite beings and we are thirsty for knowledge and for wisdom. Now, as a speaker, you are there to quench the thirst of other people, thirst for wisdom and knowledge. So evolving yourself as a speaker and consistently investing in yourself, you actually invest in others and invest in their future, invest in their wisdom, in their knowledge, that collectively then we can actually create a better, more blissful and a brighter world, not just only for ourselves, but for generations to come.
And Tony, can you do a big wave shout out hello to the speakers of Singapore?
Hello everybody, I love you and I thank you for being with us and for doing what you do.
Oh, Tony, thank you very much. I love that. Quench the thirst. quench the thirst for the learning and continue the learning and the growing. And you are seeing you live whenever I'm walking down the street or I see a little pop up. I don't have many people whose automation links pop up for me, but Tony is one of these people. And when I can jump on with Tony, I do, to watch Tony, because no matter where he is in the world, there's always a gem I know I'm going to get from him. So thank you for being here today, Tony. I really appreciate your time, because I know that you are a very busy man, but I also know that you love sharing the love around the world. So virtual hug for you, my buddy, big virtual hug. And hopefully I'll get to see you in the UK, maybe here in Ireland, PSA Ireland.
What about the conference in Paris? I was speaking there at the Elevate 2018, which is organized by one of the PSA members, the French PSA members. So I'll be speaking there on the. Tony? I'll tell you right now. It's give me 1 second. Mm-hmm. So I'll be there. That, folks. I'll be speaking on Thursday the 31st.
Thursday the 31st of
May.
Of May.
Yeah.
I literally, I'll be back and organising events for. We've got in Ireland. We've got our 1010 talks, which is some of our local. Yep. Local, national, international speakers. We're all going to the other side of the country, to Galway, to share.
Oysters.
Yes, not just oysters. Yes, oysters too. But it's our 10-10 talks, Tony. 10 speakers, 10 minutes each, 10 top tips to take home. At least 10 top tips to take home for your business today. So it's an idea that myself and one of the now president, Alec Drew in Ireland, came up with a couple of years ago. So we're taking it on tour across Galway on the 24th. And I know that week, having just got back from Singapore as well, and Thailand, that I will be that week. So I will, if you're virtual on stage, Tony, I will be watching you virtually, definitely.
Or as you know, we are the opening film at the New York Film Festival of Living My Illusion. So if you somehow can make it happen, I can make arrangements for you to come in at the press screening and PR screening, which is Sunday, the 6th of April in New York City, where you can go live broadcast to everybody from New York City, the opening night of the big film festival. And on 9th of May, we have the general release to press screening of the premiere screening in New York of Living My Illusion at 4:30. So if somehow you can make it to New York, you can go live from New York and inspiring people directly what the main messages of Living My Illusions are. Because as you know, I'm a massive supporter and I love helping women in leadership and more women step up into leadership positions and be able to serve humanity, so we can actually create a more just world.
Yeah, fantastic, Tony. I know there are a couple of women, our Ladies Go Live members, who are based in or near New York. So I know there's a number of people. Now, you said the 6th of April, Tony, for that film festival.
6th of May, sorry. 6th of May.
Okay, 6th of May. Okay, so that's coming up very, very soon. That's
very soon, yeah.
That's the day I fly to Asia that week. So there's that on the 6th of May, and then the 9th of May is the film festival in New York that people can see the film. And the film again, Tony, is called?
Living My Illusion.
Living My Illusion. Let me pop this up here, because part of this is
Living My Illusion.
Sharing what each other are doing.
Hurts. Yeah. And people can see the main poster on my website, or they can go to livingmyillusion.com. They can find more details. But the 9th of May, it's the public premiere in New York City at the film festival. The 6th is only for press and celebrities.
Okay. But if there is one person who gets in touch with you through me today, might you be able to, one woman from Ladies Go Live who says, Tony, I'm the Ladies Go Liver from Lottie, might they be able to get an invite from you to New York?
If they go, absolutely. I mean, if they're going to be there and they wanted to come. Yes, and if there are somebody who have massive social media, reach out. I'll be able to get them in as somebody who will be interviewing myself and Joel, because we have people from NBC, ABC who already set up the interview to interview me there live and to interview Joel, and we've got some other media and PR. So if they have some form of like a big social media and they love being on camera, they love to interview, then I can arrange them to be at the press screening where they can go live and they can share not only us, but they'll have the opportunity to meet other celebrities and other filmmakers and other producers and other ideas, because the festival theme it's pretty much matched with the vision that I've put together to inspire 1 billion people to speak their truth and expand and elevate themselves. And this actually helps many people go at a deeper level, how by transforming ourselves, we transform our world, but also dealing with a lot of the issues that happens in business, issues that happen in Hollywood, issues that happen in a political arena, issues that happen globally when it comes to the 17 UN global, I would say, goals that every business can tap in and somehow support that. So we truly, truly elevate humanity to a whole new level where no longer we need to create bombs and kill one another and actually create suicide bombers, but we actually step into our true magnificence, where through connection and through love, we can actually truly connect our world and connect ourselves, because bottom line, it's Earth. It's our only mother we all share.
And on that note, live stream ladies in New York City. I'm thinking of a couple of names of people who might be based out there. Rachel Moore, I'm not sure if you're still in New York, but we're Ross Brand and Leland. Do we know any big name live stream ladies based in New York who might be a great person to be invited by Tony, this beautiful man here? I know there's a few people I can think of just in my brain here. Just check whether they can come and do that with you, Tony, that you would absolutely love. So hopefully we can get somebody that can help you back in the same time in return for that invitation. And all my worries from earlier on this morning are gone. Thank you for your time. Thank you for reminding me that none of that matters, Tony. It's all about getting out there and spreading the love around the world. And as always, it's an absolute joy to watch you, listen to you, get emotional with you, send you big hugs. And I cannot wait to see you either in Ireland or in the UK or somewhere else in the world.
Virtually. In the world.
And in real person.
But one of the final things I would love to share, I would love to share how wonderful you are. And how much kindness you have in your heart, and the feeling and the knowing it's mutual. It's the moment we met, I saw this massive, massive goddess. It's out there to share love and to help people to shine their true light within themselves. And your energy, your vibration, your frequency, and your thoughtfulness. When I've seen you, even when I saw you at the APSS, you're like this butterfly that wants to go out there and help people to really shine their true magnificence and being able to use camera and help them to become confident, because confidence, it's millions of people suffer. And it is what makes you truly special. And what I love about you, it's your humbleness of simply from a very, very humble space, you approach people to share transparently. And even when I saw you at the PSA, I'm just looking at your energy, because I go beyond the physical body that most people see. And if you are able to see what my eyes see, usually I see colors in the aura of the people. And that's what makes you stand out. And for that, I really, truly love you and thank you. And I believe and I trust every human being who meets you, they will see that in you.
He's got me all emotional, folks. There's not many people that do. and the orange is not just on the outside. Hopefully that's the aim, to glow.
Inside out.
inside and out. Well, folks, that's it. Thank you, Tony, for jumping in here with this special show today and for your beautiful, beautiful words. There's nothing I can say. So thank you. Big love, everybody. Have a wonderful week. And see you live with Lottie again soon. Thanks to Tony Selimi. See you all.